Some might suggest, of course, that this was all going so well for the former royal known as the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, as you know, a particular favourite of mine, and recently re-invited back into the royal fold, so much so that for the very first time in so many years, she was invited on Christmas Day to take the royal walk in Sandringham, where, of course, she headed to church with His Majesty the King and Queen Camilla. It's funny, isn't it, just a few days down the line, how things can take a radical turn, some might suggest for the worst. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me. Yes, this is an old London bus behind me, a route master for all of those people that remember. And this is now being used to transport people back and forth from a wedding. Lovely way to go, though, isn't it? Don't you think? I always thought, though, the thing I miss, I don't know if you've been to London in a while, but you used to be able to hop on and hop off, didn't you, if it just pulled up at the stop or the lights. Now you've virtually got to throw yourself in front of the bus to get them to stop, haven't you, when they're not on strike? Yes, you've probably read about that. That's what's happening today. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. It's a strange thing, isn't it, with Sarah, the Duchess of York, because she did come back very good, in fact, in 2023. Big selling books, possible TV shows, quite a few interviews, and then she rounded it off with an appearance on the beleaguered ITV show this morning. I say beleaguered, of course, because as many people know, earlier on in the year, the disgraced TV presenter Philip Schofield was, well, removed, and then Holly Willoughby decided she couldn't cope with it anymore, so she left, and it's been back and forth ever since. The idea, you see, by signing up Fergie for a guest stint was to, well, up show ratings, get people to watch, and they did, and she came across as very well alongside Dermot O'Leary. But you see, there's a bigger problem because television's all about transparency in many respects, particularly when it's a daytime TV show where they contact you, the viewer contacts you live on air. And this is now the dilemma that ITV bosses over at This Morning are facing with the Duchess of York. They wanted to invite her back in 2024 for regular stints. That was, of course, until the revelations of the latest papers regarding the late Jeffrey Epstein. Now, on this particular instance, it's very difficult for ITV. As I say, recently there's running a story about how Alison Hammond turned down the opportunity to be the main presenter. That's the story. But, you know, ITV are saying nothing really. They originally wanted Kat Deely to take over from Holly Willoughby, and that now apparently has changed again. Very confusing messages, but of course this is This Morning where they hid so many things for so many years, but apparently people know nothing. Regarding Sarah, though, it now looks like her position could be on ice for some time, simply because, as I say, it's a very difficult show to anchor live if you have a live phone-in, and they can't risk, even with a delay button, that somebody may ask a rather inappropriate question to the Duchess on air. Obviously, they could work around that by simply putting pre-recorded segments in. As it stands at the time of this recording, it literally is more bad news for Sarah, Duchess of York. She had hoped to realign her career, move more into television, and hopefully get some of her books turned into TV movies. Difficult time for anybody associated right now with the British monarchy, but more importantly, particularly Sarah, when you were hoping to kickstart your career. Now, whether Meghan and Harry thought this was one rule for one and one for another, either way, Sarah proved incredibly popular with the ITV audiences, and this truly has got to hurt. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.